this webinar is aimed to equip parents with the skills and the knowledge that every single one of us needs to build a strong and supportive relationship with our teen daughters. Thank you. Thank you, Ada. Thank you for being here. Okay. Okay. So like I was saying, I think I was on mute when I was talking about, or I was rather introducing the webinar. I said sometimes we feel that there's a different kind of relationship when we start off with our babies, from our babies to toddlers, and then they become preteens, and before you know it, they are already teenagers. And then when they turn to teenagers, in fact, it's like a smooth ride. Like when we start from the babyhood, the toddlers, and then when they become teenagers, it's now like, what happened? As in, like, how am I getting it wrong? Where did I get it wrong? You hear a lot of parents crying and shouting, how did I get it wrong with my daughter? What did I do wrong? But then it's not about what you did wrong or what you did not do. It's just that there is a transition in happening. There is a change. There's a different phase. It's a different phase altogether, and it's not about you. Now, your teenager is going through a lot of things, like a lot of changes, and you're also wondering, is this what I'm going to be seeing? So you're not even prepared for what is coming. So many parents are just, once it gets to that stage, there's now a lot of fighting, and in this time and this age where we are now, it's not something that you say we leave it to chance. Some persons will say, yes, our parents actually, they didn't do so much of study, they didn't do so much of, browsing and all that, or getting knowledge. But the truth is that they left it to chance, quite all right. And if you look around, what these are the outcome, what we are churning out now as parents, or the kind of parents that we are seeing most times as a result of what our parents did. So sometimes it could be that it's a seed. Everyone is a seed. Every child is a seed. And then if we do not plant, water, or even till the soil where these plants or these seeds are growing, you find out that in the end, what happens is that you're either, leaving them to chance. So it's either they grow healthy, or they do not grow at all. And so this is what happens, or this is what happened during the time of our parents. Okay. And what we see in those period or in those days was, it's not even up to what we see now. Because what we see now, this Gen Zs or this generation right now, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. One is because of their exposure or their access to the internet. There's a lot of access that they have now to the internet. So by the time, in fact, back in those days, you don't even have access to the internet. And before you have access to the internet, trust me, you must have saved. And how do you even get them? I think it was 100 naira for 30 minutes or 200 naira for like an hour. So how do you get access to the internet or to information? But then these teenagers or these people that we, have as daughters, trust me, there's a whole lot of information at the tips of their fingers. Like, they are connected to the world. They have access to the world. So we cannot just sit down as parents and then say, and we survived it. Yes, even if we survived it, trust me, a lot of us had scars. A lot of us had scars, and we really would not want that for our children. We really would not want that for our teenagers. So it is very, very important that we invest in getting knowledge and getting equipped for what is ahead or what lies ahead. So why is it important to develop or build a rock-solid relationship with your teenage daughter? One is that the exposure and access to the information that they have, like I already said, is like alarming. These teenagers are bombarded on a daily basis with different, I can't even begin to explain. You know what it means at this age where there is so much going on the internet. There's so much things that are not even screened. There's nothing that is censored anymore. They can just open their phone and before you know it, or open the internet or want to browse or even assignment, they don't even have the intention. But once they put on the internet, the next thing, things are hitting them from left, right, and center. So, but building a rock solid relationship with your daughter is very crucial for one, her emotional, psychological, and social development. So if you want your teenager to be whole, if you want her to have a solid relationship, if you want her to be whole in her own self, then you must be intentional about building this relationship. So what and what will it help your daughter do? Or what and what, how will it help your daughter if you are intentional about this relationship? One is that it will help her develop a positive self-image and self-worth. Imagine if she has a very good connection with you. She connects really well with you, and then she's able to express herself, and you are able to teach her, or you're able to connect with her on a level that she understands that, my mom as in knows this, and she has taught me earlier on, before she goes out there and picks it from anywhere. So number two is that your daughter would more likely always seek your guidance when faced with challenges because she trusts you. If she doesn't trust you, there are some information you would never get. In fact, even if she trusts you, there's still some information you would never get. So when you build a relationship and there is an open communication, your daughter feels comfortable to share her thoughts and experiences with you. So if you want to have access to such, then it's now. You have to start now to build that relationship and connection. So it will also provide a lifelong support system for your daughter or daughters, and also help to reduce anxiety, depression, and mental health concerns, which is a lot for many girls. In fact, now everybody will tell you, I'm protecting my mental health. It's a season where everybody is trying to protect their mental health because there's a lot going on there. You go on social media, you go on the internet, there's so many negative news bombarding, hitting you left, right, and center. So then imagine what is going on with these young girls. So, but then for you to be able to do this and navigate this part, you have to understand what is going on in your teenage girl's mind. What is going on? Because when you get to that stage or when you get to that phase where she is transitioning, there's so many things are changing, both her mental, she's changing mentally, psychologically, body changes, so many things are going on at the same time. And she is yet to understand, adapt, and be able to manage this. The thing is that most times we parents, we forget that, you've been through this particular phase. And then what we do is we begin to either hit left, right, and center, and then preach and give instructions. And see, they don't need instruction. They don't even need information, because the information you think you are giving them, they know more than you think that you are giving them. So how do you, or what are the things that are going on within a teenager's or excuse me, a teen girl's mind? Number one is that during this phase, the teen girl, her brain is not yet fully developed. In fact, whether teen or girl, boy or girl, their brains are not fully developed. In fact, the prefrontal cortex, the ones that are responsible for emotions, impulse, and decision making, are not fully developed. So that's why they are given to so many things at this point. And so if as a parent, you want to build this relationship, the first thing to do is to understand what is going on with my daughter, what is really happening, what exactly is she going through. If you're able to know what she's going through, then you'll be able to understand with her, and then you'll be able to walk her through the process as well as support her on this journey. So now let's look at the different things that even happen. Number one, like I said, is this development of the brain. It's not fully developed. So they struggle with decision making, they struggle with their impulses, they struggle with emotions management and all. And we see it. People, as even teenagers, still throw some tantrums. Yes. So when you see the girls, especially the girls, and then they are acting, before you know it, today they are mood swings and all. So emotional, their emotions also are intensified at this very phase of their life. So you'll be wondering, can't you hold yourself? Can't you stay? Can't you? You just be wondering. And then they have this emotional, next thing, mood swing, mood swing. Where is it swinging to? But that is because their emotions are intensified. So every little thing could get at them. So this is the place where you begin to teach them or empower them with skills to manage their emotions. There's a skill that we teach in the academy where we talk about emotions management. We teach them how to manage their emotions and how to walk through not everything you react to. So also identity formation. In this phase, they are also struggling with their identity. They are exploring their identities like interests, their values, their relationships. So I'm even wondering, who am I? Why do I exist? What am I here for? What am I doing? They don't seem to, have a grasp or a grip of who they are or what they are here to do. So they struggle a lot. And why they are struggling, you feel that, oh, that this my daughter is just being useless. Or why is she here at all? Why is she acting the way she's acting? But she's confused in her own self. She's like, I don't even know what is going on with me. Today, you see them, they are here, they have these relationships. Tomorrow, they have values. And if you do not instill in them or teach them how to, their value, oh my goodness, like most of the trainings that we do, you find out that these girls are clueless, that they have no idea of what is going on or even how to navigate this journey. Another thing that goes on in a teenage mind is peer influence. Friendships and social relationships, they play social relationships. These ones play significant roles in shaping their beliefs, behavior, and even their self-esteem. Some parents will say, what do you need friends for? Do you need friends? Let them go. No, at this point, they need friends. Okay, so even, okay, next is also a risk and reward. They are likely to try out different things. They want to even try out novel experiences. When you read novels, there are some experiences, but they don't know that those experiences are actually only, possible in the novels. In real life situations, those things don't count too. But it's just in their mind. They just even want to explore. You see a girl that will just carry her bag and travel to one other state or go and meet another guy. What is that thing? In fact, with the whole stories that they keep hearing on a daily basis about this thing that is going on, yet they will still go back and still do the same thing. And there'll be another person, as in that person's story will still come. And you'll be asking, is that this person does not read the news? Is that person does not hear stories? They are they like taking risk at this point. Then communication styles. The Gen Zs, they like digital. In fact, if you hear their slangs, tease, all the old slangs that they have now, some even get lost. So even when they're even chatting with you or when they are talking to you, there are some, words they just put in your given, your this. So this is the stage where they are now. And then another one is then they seek independence. And this is majorly one of the reasons why there's always conflict. They want to be independent. And you're wondering, they want freedom. And you're wondering, see this one. No? Then the other one, which I talked about earlier, is also physical changes and puberty. Like I said, there's a whole lot going on, especially for the girls. There's a whole lot going on for them. And they're still struggling to understand what is going on. And then you as a parent, what you are doing is you're fighting them because you don't understand why they're acting the way they're acting. So most times, what you are dealing with or what you are trying to address is what they are displaying outside. But what is happening inside, they cannot even tell you. Because those things that are happening inside, or it is like, when volcanic eruption, something is boiling inside one mountain like this, and next thing, boom, what you're seeing, but you don't know what is cooking inside. And shouting as well. Very true. So by the time you don't know what is cooking inside, and then next thing they explode. Next thing, you're wondering what is going on here. And then you start shouting, you start screaming, you start beating themselves like, easy now, I'm your mother, I'm your father, I will deal with it. But the truth is, the more you keep dealing with what they are displaying on the surface, trust me, the more they are struggling with them because they're just trying to navigate, they're wondering what is going on with them. And if you on your own as a parent don't take time to start teaching them, or to even intentionally direct them to places or platforms where they would learn these skills, or where they would, get the knowledge that they need. Because yes, school is good, but there are certain things, there's a link between the parents and the academic education or education itself. And that missing link is personal growth and development. These skills that I'm talking about now is a missing link. And I'll tell you from my own experience, is a missing link. Some persons might, or some, depending on your family, you can actually get this. You can actually absorb these skills. You can actually absorb this because you're watching people that are modeling it already. He said, God forgive you. Yeah, because we don't know. And that is the truth. In fact, our parents also made this mistake because they had no idea. I struggled with self-esteem, like crazy. I struggled like, oh my goodness. Because I remember back then when I was in secondary school, there was something that happened. And in all honesty, it was a good intention for me not to, as in during my, I became a prefect. And that period, what happened was that I cut my hair. And as a senior prefect now, I always cut my hair very low. But that particular time, I said, let me just give it a little inch high. I could not rest when we went for training. I was just like, oh, let me just look for where to cut it. But then when I went to this thing, unfortunately, my principal caught us because I went with some of my prefects. We were just going out. They went for training, and that state too. What were we thinking? Me, I was just thinking, where would I see someone to just cut it for my principal will see me? Let it not be that I've changed or something. But they caught us, and that's how we got suspended. And then my dad was not in Abuja. I'm not in Enugu, then we're in the east. And he will call, he will holla, 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 and he will scold me and tell me always, who am I? As in, look at how tiny I am, that they gave me prefect. They did not see any other person as taller, as tiny as I was. God. There was nothing. As in, every time my daddy calls, I am shaking. Like, I felt like the ground should open up and swallow me. But if he knew better, he would have actually done better. So every time he calls me, hey, my mom did a great job. I'm sure she did not know what she did. In fact, it was even recently I told her what the impact of her action did that period. When we went back to school and then with the suspension, that it was 1 week, but that 1 week looked like one whole year, as in like a lifetime. And then my mom, what she did was remarkable. I can never forget it till today. Many parents of the parents of those other prefects that went with me, when they came to school, I don't know, eye service now, your reputation, you're thinking your child has brought shame on you. So those parents came and were still beating their children, slapping, hitting them, just to show the principal that they are taking care of it. My mom was like, in fact, she knew that I was already dead because I was crying day and night. Like, if when I got back to school, in fact, she saw all the other kids and sorry, this is going to log out, but we'll log in back, please, and then we'll finish up. So my mom just, as in, instead of hitting or shouting again, what she was doing was calming the other women down. That this thing has already happened. These are children, and it has already happened. And then she was not asking, let us plead with the principal instead. So instead of her shouting, even while I was at home, she wasn't even, the first one, she has acknowledged, okay, this is a mistake. But then she was now redirecting, let us handle this. So these are kids, you cannot keep killing them. These ones are dead already, in fact, they know what they've done. So let us address this. So that kind of, gave me a stronger, as like, but that thing my dad did up to, as in for a very long time. I was like, who am I? Timing me. Prefect, senior prefect. What do you have to offer? She handled it in a way that I was amazed, like up till today. Like I am still amazed at that. So it doesn't matter. It's not about age. It's not about, sometimes it's ignorance that makes us as parents act the way we act towards our children. And then we lose them. We lose that connection completely. We cut it off. So instead of reacting, it's better you get knowledge. It's better you understand before they even get there. Because when they get there, they are going to display. And it depends on the personality of your daughter. They are going to display. And when they start displaying, some will display in makeup, some will display in their dressing, some will display and the peer influence. Oh, it's just amazing. That phase, it's a lot. But in that a lot, we can handle it. You can handle it. And that's why we are here at the Smart Girls Academy. That is what we do. That is what we bring programs. In fact, we have programs. We have even books. I've written books that actually address this or help these teen girls navigate this part. The Smart Girls Code is that #1 book that every young girl needs because it's like a map. Every young girl needs a map, even yourself. I'm sure that when you were at that phase, you actually needed guidance, you actually needed support. You wish somebody had told you certain things. Instead of us now getting those information from somebody who is a reliable source, we could not get it. We couldn't even communicate with our parents. They were good people, they modeled it, but then there were certain discussions we could not have with them because this connection was missing. And then we'll sort this connection or this information from people out there. And then whatever we got, getting information from somebody who is also on the same journey with you that is confused. You know what to expect. So I'm going to be talking about the 5 C's, why there's always a struggle within your relationship and your daughter. The relationship between you and your daughter, why there will be a struggle or why there is that, struggle. The 5 C's, #1 is connection. Until the child that you did not build connection with from a toddler, you see, when that child is a toddler, when you do not build connection with that child as a toddler, a preteen, and the child becomes a teenager, you're going to fight. Like, just get your boxing, get your gloves on because you're going to fight if you don't have that connection. So it's like seed time and harvest time. When you sow seed, you must definitely reap. So if you sow that seed of, I'm very busy, I don't have time, maybe they try to talk to you and you shove them or they express their emotions. And instead of you pulling them close and asking, okay, what is it? You undermine their emotions like you're always crying, you're always this, you're always that. No, they are struggling. Their emotions are on a high level and they're wondering what is going on. So it's when they express themselves that way, they are trying to see how you would respond. And even if you have not built that relationship and you were busy, you can start gradually, and it's not something that will happen overnight. You can start little by little in ways that maybe you can just look for something she likes. You can go out. You can pick a date night, just you and your daughter. Find something that 2 of you can do. You can cook together. And while you are cooking, you're having conversations. So that is, for you to even build the connections, you have to create an environment where there is no judgment. Let nothing that she will tell you make you say, you too. Yes, how you will react. Your daughter will never ever talk to you again. Your daughter would never ever talk to you again. So, and the truth is that parenting is done. In fact, sometimes if you hear this one, you're going to even be shocked. Like parenting is, you're done with parenting at the age of 10. You're done with parenting. And we have a window. We have a window, like when you have a child, we have a window of like 18 years. And then you're done with whatever you want to impute in that child. And but funny enough, unfortunately, those are the period where we are at our peak, we have energy, we want to do the whole thing that we need to do to provide for them. And the truth is that we are all the efforts we are putting, all the the things that keep us on the road or doing things is because of these children. We want to give them a better life. We want to do our best for them. But at what expense? We'd rather lose them when we are doing what we are doing. We can actually do that and lose them. But I'll also show you a trick to also do this, even while you're a busy parent, even while you are busy doing what you're doing. You will not lose your children because you have created a roadmap. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So #2, this second C's or that causes the struggle between you and your daughter is control issues. If someone says adolescence is another name for it is independence. They want to declare self-government, self-freedom. I want to be free. I remember one time when I think I even turned 17 that time, and I came and announced in front of everybody, my parents and my siblings, and I told them, I'm not going to be washing plates anymore. I am, I've come off. God. The way my mom looked at me like, are you for real? Like I wanted freedom, like I wanted to, and that was because I was having a conversation with one of my neighbors, and neighbor said, I doesn't wash plate anymore. It doesn't wash plates. So like and me, I was like, what do you mean that you don't wash plates? in my mind, though, I didn't say anything. But when I went home, I went to announce, I'm not going to watch Pluto anymore. I'm now a big girl. Momsy carried. Okay. So, so because of that, we want to be, you just want to be on your own. I'm sure you might remember one that you did that. Sometimes when you remember, you will be asking yourself, what were you even thinking at that point in time? Okay. So the thing, they just want to take risks. They are risk takers. They're looking for adventure. They're looking for things. That's why you'll be wondering, how would this person just stand up and do something like this? That you to blow your mind. Like, was this child even thinking? The truth is, they might be thinking, but that brain is not fully developed. That's why I tell you that the decision making impulse, they act on impulse, because that's part of the brain that is responsible for managing that, for them to sit and think. It's not fully developed. Sometimes it takes the 26 years to age 26. That's when it fully develops. So it's going to be like a long ride. So the next one is also communication issues. It's a whole ball game for them. In fact, your teen girl will even share her thoughts in a limited way. They will not tell you, don't tell you surface things that you think, oh, my child is, you just have surface gist. There's nothing deep. So, but when they turn teenagers, like I said, you return to a floor, and then you are no longer the major influence in their life. So that's why you keep fighting. They'll keep fighting. They'll keep fighting. Many parents will be fighting so that they'll be the person that will be the topmost. You cannot. And it's not by fight. If you fight, you lose them. If you shout, you lose them. It's not by all those things. But you can still be running your things. You can still be in their life, but they will not know that you are the one running things. But you still have influence. That is called the 4 levels of influence. The 4 levels of influence. It's a place where you might, because sometimes my brother is my best friend. They've built a relationship, or they've built a relationship. They think, yes, they are close to their daughters. But the truth is, your daughter cannot tell you everything. Because even you as a parent, if she tells you everything, someday you will faint. There are some things that she will tell you, and be like, the way you even respond to it, you will not even know, because you'll be like, how? Are you okay? Or you might just respond in such a way, and they're like, this is just like normal gist they're telling you. And then, in fact, they can't even come and tell you those kind of things. You know the kind of stories I've heard? Hmm. You know the kind of gist, like some of my mentees or the ones that I train come and tell me. And then I can't tell their parents now, and their parents, they cannot even tell their parents. So they are looking for someone that they can actually pour their heart with, and there's no judgment. One, the person also give them the right advice, or able to tell them how to navigate that part. You see, raising teenagers, especially in this world today, is tricky, because there are so many people speaking to them. Trust me. Hey, I pity them all. Sometimes I sit and I'm like, I remember then you cannot even access, it's not 3310. I was saying 3310. So what concerns me on internet? The only people that could influence your daughter, or sorry, the only people that could influence us at that time were people in the immediate environment. So, and at that phase, you could actually say, okay, who is this person? What is happening? How did this happen? You could actually pull your daughter or your child out of that environment, because you know that environment has really influenced your daughter or your child negatively. But now, where do you want to pull your child from? When the person has access to the world just with a phone. Person can be with somebody in Johannesburg or be with somebody in New York. You have no idea. There are different platforms, social media. In fact, the only one you know is what we know is still Instagram, Facebook. Some of us are not even active. Some of us are not even very tech. We're not tech inclined. So there are so many other, name them. I can't Snapchat, and these ones are even like the general ones. If they tell you new ones that are there that you have no idea of. And trust me, when you're a teenager, you might say, yes, my child does not have access to this information or does not have access to the internet. When they go to school, you think they don't gist, they don't talk. They do. They know more than you think that they know. You'll be shocked when you build this connection. Your daughter will be able to, or will be able to open up to you, and you'll be like, please don't just open your mouth. Just hold yourself. Hold yourself, because what you would hear, and that's why it's important to build this connection, because if you don't build it, they will look for somebody out there, and they will come, because they are looking for someone that would actually, God will save you if the person they connect with is a wrong influence on them. So you see why the reason why you talk about mentorship, why you need mentorship or a mentor, intentionally planting a mentor. I'll tell you how to navigate this, but there's a map, there's a roadmap to actually putting or planting people intentionally so that you are still able to influence your daughter. Number 4 is their change in priorities. So their priority will change automatically. It's not, it's not family. Their priorities, they'll begin to put priorities on relationships outside. So brace up, like hold your chest and like that it's not going to be you anymore. It's not even going to be sometimes their siblings. That's why you see somebody that will be in a family and be looking for love outside. Somebody gives them small attention, give them small shawarma. The girl has moved. So don't be shocked because those kind of things will happen. Then number 5 is coping with change. So these girls, especially the girls, we have wahala, not just, we have wahala. Our emotions will just roller coaster. There's just a lot, especially the puberty. There's so many changes going on. Your body is developing, your shape, so many things. And while the body is developing, there's so much anxiety as well. Oh, will I develop fully? Will I have full breasts? Will I have full hips? This because of the societal standard. So there's a lot of thoughts. Imagine, so you see how their minds are wired, like it's so much for them. Then you not understand as a parent, you now start shouting on them, you start beating them, you start flogging them. You just lose them in time. If I just cut off this time, my parents don't understand me anymore. You hear a child say, my parents don't even love me anymore. They don't love me anymore, so no problem, no need. Let me just find love elsewhere. That's when they now start looking outside. So when they go out, they have that, then they come back, they think that, they'll feel they've gotten their love tank full outside. Then when they come back, anything that the house, they can't wait to just leave the house. So when you are intentional or not intentional in building your teen girl's emotional capacity, that's when they struggle at this stage. And that's why we have so many programs going on, especially in this holiday. These programs that are going on, we have like 5 weeks coaching program or mentorship program. Enroll your teen daughters, enroll your daughters, even if they're not teenagers, start enrolling them in programs like this, because that is where they will hear and that is where they will understand what is going on with them. So they are able to now navigate the challenges as they come, because it's not if, it is when, because it will definitely come. And if you have equipped your daughter with the knowledge and the skills that she needs, what will happen is that when she gets there, she will understand, oh, this is it. And then she's now equipped. She knows how to find her way with ease. So the 4 levels of influence. Number 1, the people that are topmost, that come first on the first floor, are shocking. It will shock you. They are their peers, peer groups. Their peers are the people that are topmost, because whatever they say, whatever teen culture, you've heard of teen culture now, whatever is trendy for them, those are the things that come top, like first things. So some parents will say, there are no peer pressure. This one, nobody, don't allow anybody pressure you. Even as parents, we are also under pressure. Maybe you see somebody driving a car, you like that car, oh, I can't, the person not say anything to you, but you want to have the car, or it might even be clothes, or it might just be something without saying a word to you. Those are pressures, or those are even influences that come without you knowing. So imagine for a teenager, if this one is top on their list. So if you're able to teach your daughter how to navigate, or she's able to acquire the knowledge on how to navigate these things, she will not struggle at that point, because she knows, this is it, and this is how I can actually overcome. I shouldn't be influenced. Instead, I should be able to manage, the situation. The second person is an adult. The second people on the level of influence are other adults. So it is not you, it is not your husband that would be. So that is where that is where your teenager needs. You see, they need a mentorship, like we need oxygen. They need mentors, like we need oxygen. Like our life depends on their life depends on mentorship. There's nothing you want to do or you want to say, because You cannot mentor your daughter. I repeat it again. You can have influence. You can model certain things and they would pick from you because you have modeled hard work, you have modeled honesty, you've modeled so many things. They will pick it. But you see, mentorship, they need, because if you don't even intentionally plant a mentor, they will pick their mentor. And sorry, their mentor, they go and pick maybe a transgender, say Bobrisky for the guys, or the ladies go and pick. So because their social media is there now, so they can just stay and say, oh, I like this person. Maybe is now somebody that is always smoking or someone that is high. And they follow, I know social media, you can follow somebody back to back. You go on Instagram, just follow the person's page, you follow their lifestyle. They lose themselves because they are following somebody and they are patterning their life, arranging their lives after just to be like somebody when they are created different. So until they are trained, until they are equipped to the knowledge and skill that they need to understand that they are different, and once they identify their individuality, their difference, they will not be able to give voice to it. And then when they show up on social media or when they show up anywhere, they know that their voice matters. They know that they are not small anywhere. That whenever they show up, that thing that they are about to do, or that little thing that they will keep shouting no matter what, they will not go and copy another person and paste in their life. So that's the place of mentorship. I also offer mentorship programs. Yes, I have people that are mentoring. So I offer this mentorship, and you can have, your daughter can have a lifetime access with us. So if you are not strategic, it could also be you intentional. You see the peer groups, you cannot change the people that will influence your daughter, the peers that she will have, but you can decide the environment where they are being influenced. You can decide the kind of people that would influence them. That is one. The environment, you can change the environment. You can intentionally plant people that, okay, I like this person's. You can intentionally say, okay, this person is intentional about raising her children, and I like the way they're raising her children. You can now find a way that you keep connected. So whatever they are getting is positive. The second one is mentorship. It could even be people like are your friends that are close, people you know, their lifestyle, and people that you trust what they are doing. And what you do is that you pick certain, maybe you even spend time, and you're intentional that this person is able to, influence your daughter. You are intentional making the person to even have a relationship in such a way that this person, and the person has to also be skilled. The person has to also be skilled because there's how you also say, maybe your friend will say, you did that. Oh, your mommy must hear this. Or even she doesn't mention it, the person goes and says, see what your daughter did though. And then because you are now at impulse, or maybe you don't understand how to manage it, you go and hit your daughter. She will shut down from telling that person anything anymore. So you can plant somebody who is going to be a positive influence on your daughter. It could be maybe in career, it could be anything, any area. You can just expose her to that person. And once she sees those things that person is doing, she would want to. She'll be influenced by that person. So it's an intentional planting. You're intentional. So now you have intention, or you have deliberately pulled her out of an environment and placed her in an environment where would infuse the right things into her. That is environment. Number two is you have intentionally planted other adults that you trust the lifestyle, and that they'll be able to influence your child positively. So you've done two things. Another one is social activities. Talked about the teen culture, the activities they engage in. This is another thing that influences them. If what is trendy, they go with the trend. Whatever is trendy, they'll go with it. And those are the things that also is a third thing on the level of influence. And then the fourth is now you. That is where you sit down. Excuse me. So you sit at the fourth level. So you see how you can navigate these things is by being intentional. And look around you. Who are the people that you associate it with? Who are your child's friends? Is it the environment? Can you change the environment? If you can change the environment, then why not? If you can intentionally plant them in a place where they would learn better skills, why not? It's okay for you to do that. So the last but not the least is, what do you do now that you understand that this is, or how do you now connect with your daughter, or how do you build this rock solid relationship? And when you understand everything that they are going to, so you have to be simple, empathetic, and you have to show empathy. You have to say, oh, now I understand. So this is what my child will be going through. She'll be going through developmental changes, puberty. There's a lot of mental changes. She'll be struggling with her self-esteem. She'll be struggling with her body, maybe body issues. Either they're telling you you're too fat, you're too slim, you're too tall, you're too short, you're too everything that people will be saying. So now you understand that this is what she's going through. And when you don't understand and you're shouting at all things, she'll not, like I said, she'll be displaying those things on the surface, like banging her door, slamming her door, angry at you, or even raising her, or doing certain things, like wondering where is one coming from. So, but since you now understand the teen's mind, you can now be able to sit down and watch her display. And while she's displaying, you're just looking at her, because trust me, it's a phase. She might do it in excess, maybe makeup and all that, but they're the ones that you can be able to call her and teach her, and you cannot correct a child you did not connect with. It's not possible. Even like my teenage girls, the ones that my mentees, I try to connect with them before I can influence them. That is number one thing. If you want to be able to influence a child, your teenage, you have to connect. There has to be a connection. And then there has to be teaching. Most times what person, if any guy touch you, you will get pregnant. Who told you they don't know? If you do this one, this will happen. Who told you they even know more than you do? Instead of giving them information, teach them. And don't say they are too young. Start now to start teaching them. Because if you don't teach them, whoever they hear it from, it might be a positive or negative, but once they hear it from that person, they will hold that as a solid, is a foundation from where they will build all other information will come. So start now. Don't say my child is just 7, my child is just 8, my child is this. Build that information. Start telling them things. There's even sex education, how you can educate your child like a pro, depending on their age, their different levels. Even primary school knows about those things now. This is not the information is at their tips like this. Even if you're not telling them, they're not having access. They have people in school. Once they go to school, they can even be passing and it will drop. So if you don't intentionally start telling them, they will hear from outside. And whatever they hear outside, God help you that what they are hearing is positive information, not the negative one. Because when they hear that one has formed a foundation. They're like, wow, so this is it. Then you now come and start talking. Maybe you now start telling them about you start preaching your own sermon at that point. And they're like, what's mommy saying? This is not true. Or they're now checking it with what the other person has said. But if you start now to start telling them, this is this, spell it very well for them, because you might come and start painting it. Like I said, depending, that's why there's a level, different stages, and how you can teach them of different things. So that's why I created this group too. There's going to be so many information that we'll be getting. So while you are at it, your teen, understanding that your teen girl is going through a lot. I talked about the impact of peer pressure. So if your teenage daughter, trust me, will continue to experience that peer pressure. In fact, till we become adults, remember, as adults, we still struggle with that. So if your kids are still growing, teach them how to navigate this peer pressure, not to be influenced by their peers, but then they become the influencers. They're able to also influence them. So effective communication, you have to teach them effective communication as well. That's why I'm screaming about this 5 weeks coaching program, because there's a whole lot of courses they are going to be learning during the summer. There's a whole lot of training. There's a whole lot of courses. There's a lot of skills that they're going to be learning. Because now you tell a child, a teen, to start a conversation, they are struggling. You tell them to speak their slangs, so many slangs, everybody's confused. So you have to be intentional on teaching them how to effectively communicate, start conversations. One, last but not the least, is rebuild connections. Share activities, quality time. Quality time is very, very important in this time. Quality time, spend time with your teenage daughter. Create date nights. Schedule it. See, something you don't plan, you don't make time for, you can never have time for it. So maybe every week, we can take a walk. It might just be a walk in your estate. It can just be maybe going out, just you and your daughter. It can be driving. As you're driving, you are just, and you're talking. Just create an atmosphere where people are just gisting, and she's able to intentionally, you can even plan it. Okay, what are we going to discuss on this? But don't come as you're coming to lord the information over her. But it's just like, what do you think? This is happening. What is your take on this? And then you find out that she begins to open up. You're not schooling her, but you bring her into an environment where she's now able to speak to you. You can also start family meetings. You see, it's where, like, democracy. You can start like in your house. Everybody is coming there. The kind of family meetings that we're used to then when we were back then, it's like when you're being scolded, or maybe they bring judgment. It's judgment seat. But let those family meetings not be judgments. You can plan it maybe every week. At the end of the week, maybe you could just come and talk about what is going on, maybe your own personal life. What are the progress you made? What is happening? And you've been able to create an atmosphere where everyone wants to know what's happening with you, not to judge you, but actually to help you. If there's any way you need support, if there's anything you need, so it creates that bonding. It creates that connection, family connection. So even honesty, they begin to learn different skills from whatever you are doing. So as a mom too, or even a dad, it's very, very important to also model what you want your daughter to be. Because beyond what you teach, beyond what you say, they are watching you. You can say everything. Don't do this, don't do that. And then you tell them, oh, that's like someone that will sit down and say, don't stay on your phone. But then you're on your phone 24/7. And your child is trying to get your attention. You're pressing your phone and you're talking to your child. The child will see that that phone is more important than him or her. Even as a toddler, that phone is very, very important, more than he or she. So be very intentional. You can even put a time for phones in the house. This time, nobody touches the phone. Or let us just have a family time. Be intentional. These days, we are losing our daughters, we are losing our children, we are losing our family. And if you don't do that, you have just a window of 18 years. I don't know how your daughter is. I don't know how old your son is. Let me add that. I don't know how old anybody is with you, but check their years and then check how many more years you have left. At this juncture, I just want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying here to the end of this training. If you have any questions, I don't know if you can put on your mics. If you have any questions, if you have anything that stood out for you that you want to just share. Thank you so much, Ada. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. So if you have any questions, if you have any, we can even also share on the group. So beyond that, like I was also talking about, there's a new book that I'll be launching. So we can join the wait list. There's going to be a discount for that book, and that is Embracing the Next Chapters. Embracing the next chapter. So how can you navigate this path as your child is transitioning? How can you help and be a good support to your daughter? So I'm going to share this information on the group, as well as there is a Smart Girls Academy annual training every year. That is, we're working with your daughter while she's on it. So it's like a training that while she's going to school, is something that helps her, something that's like a foundation where you're working on. You're not working on sinking sands. You're working on something that is helping you become the best version of yourself. So it's like an academy that does not distract them, but it helps them to become better, to be able to navigate their own personal challenges, as well as coaching programs. You can always reach out to us, okay? You can reach out to me through the group. You can reach out to the Smart Girls Academy. Please be intentional about your daughters. If not, we'll lose them. We'll lose them in this time, and when you know what are you now working for? What are you working for? What is now the essence of all the things you're doing? If in the end you lose the people that you are making all this effort for. So with all that said, I want to say thank you once again for joining the journey. Any questions? Any questions? Hi,
Good
Ada.
evening. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for this insight.
Thank
It
you.
was quite educative and a fulfilling moment for me as well.
Thank
All of the points you buttressed on are all true, yes. But I would like to add most times it's not as easy as one would anticipate. You know, as parents, we are being faced with the fear of actually losing these children. So, in a bid of showing love, most times without realizing it, we get too strict or maybe too hard on these kids. So, I think in all of these, it just needs wisdom and a lot of patience as well, because times have changed really, judging from where we're coming and what we've been used to in the past. I don't think such rules that were imbibed by our parents can actually come into play in today's society. But it's a learning phase for everyone, I must say. And with guidance from people like you, I believe it's a road that we can walk through together and achieve our aims. So it was quite educative, yes. I learned a lot, and I hope to change my strategies going forward to see how best I can be a better mother and friend to my daughter. Yeah, thank you so much. So hopefully we should key into your program and
you.
let's see how best we can make her become a better person.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ada. I'm grateful for your comments and contribution. Do we have any other? It's true. Honestly, we need wisdom. Like if we apply at the one our parents did, we'll just see that the Gen Zs will leave us. They'll just abandon us. We'll be lost. So thank you so much for joining us. I think from here I would still drop the replays for many persons that were not here or were not able to make it. I will drop it and more information will be sent in on the group. So thank you so much. Have an amazing weekend. Bye.
Right, you too. Bye bye.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah, good night.